Hello and welcome to Australia. This is Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, and we got every single unit in the UEF arsenal, and I'd like to show you guys what are the different units and what they can do. We'll start with Tech 1 Land. Looking at the Mech Marines, the UEF Mech Marine has the most health, very capable at killing engineers, things like that, very quick. The micro for this unit is the back and forth motion like this. It can dodge shots. We'll give it something to shoot at. Let's see. How about a rocket bot? Of course, a rocket bot will do a lot of damage. This is a Tech 2 unit. Better numbers, these do overwhelm units that have really low firing rates. We also have the light assault bot lad. Well, this is the scout, and the ability for the UEF scout can't go on water, but it does have a weapon. It's got a longer range than the light assault bot. It's nice to bring a couple of these together with your Mech Marines. They usually do shift the battle, and the weapon is stronger than for any other faction, although it's still extremely weak. See the health on one of these, 29, 75 health on the Mech Marines. Moving on to the tank, the Striker has the most health of any other Tech 1 tanks. Otherwise, there's really not much to say about it. Has a decent weapon. It's got a turret that does turn, and that could be one of its weaknesses in some situations. Yeah, that's a hidden unit. We'll have the tanks take care of that. Also, yeah, we got the artillery, but first, so you can see against Tech 2, not too much problems. 300 health, so you can see a significant jump from the Mech Marine or the Scout. Tech 1 Flak. It's an emergency unit. It's not that good at taking out air, just like any other. Well, it's good at taking out Tech 1 air, but it won't save you at Tech 2, Tech 3 stage. Very cheap, and you can make these very quickly. So in emergencies, make a whole bunch of them. Where is air? So like something like transport, they will take care of it. The artillery for UEF, a very good unit. It has the most health over any other arty, just like the most health for the tank. Tech 1 stage, it has a very low, or I guess a very high reload, so it takes a long time between shots. It is quite accurate, so good at taking out Tech 1 infrastructure or Tech 1 point defenses. Has a very nice spread, so it makes it a little more difficult to dodge than something else. And overall, a very good unit. Good to put those on transports. And something like one of these, won't have too much trouble with it. Pretty devastating. Of course, there is no friendly fire in this game. Unless you're shooting your ally, then there's definitely friendly fire. So that's Tech 1 land. Moving on to Tech 2. A few more units here. UEF does have different choices for how to approach the ground. We have the Riptide, by far the best hover tank. Has the most health. Also has a really nice micro, moving back and forth. A good weapon. So like something like an engineer, kill it very quickly. Looking at the health, 1700 health. So compared to one of the Tech 1 units, it's basically 5 times more health on that unit. The Mongoose is a different Tech 2 unit. You can see the range on the gun much longer than either the Riptide or the Tech 1 units. You can outrange the RD as well. But this one doesn't have as much health, 650 health, so just a little more than 2 times the Striker. But very good when you micro them. They're also pretty quick. Have 2 different weapons. Have the initial one with a long reload and another one that has a shorter reload. You can see an initial volley and then you can retreat after you do that. Let them reload, come back in, so hit and run. Of course, the mobile missile launcher, very long range on this, and this is specialized at taking Tech 2-point defenses, things like that. Really not much more to say about these. They're 875 health, so a little more than the Mongoose. You can see the missiles. Pretty good arch. The one difference besides the rate at which these fire compared to other factions is the arch. The AN, for example, should fly really low. So there's different ways you can defend against these. Of course, with missiles like this, it's quite easy to dodge with micro, but stationary targets are vulnerable. So let's give some more units to be killed. Probably don't want to give them that. Yeah, how about a Titan? And that is going to do damage. Although you can see against the Tech 3 unit. Too much Mongoose, and that initial volley from the Mongoose is very powerful. After that initial volley, they're quite vulnerable because of the reload. So front heavy, I guess you could say it. Here's a Sparky. This is an engineering unit that has a gun on it. I really like this unit. Good to put them into the battle. They can defend themselves, and has pretty decent health. Has radar jamming, and it can make a Tech 2-point defense, which makes them extremely good. Something on this map is just kind of funny. I don't like building these everywhere. I'm not really sure why that is. I know I've built Tech 2-point defenses here before. How about a shield? Do you want to build a shield? At least one of them wanted to make a shield. There it is. Really don't know what the problem is there. And we can give something like, not strong, like a Riptide. And you can see they can defend themselves against the Riptide at Tech 2 unit. The health on these is 1000, so similar to a Tech 2 unit. Not really good to go up against one of these Riptides, but in numbers they can defend themselves. Now we got the Tech 2 Flak. It's a generic unit, very similar to others in terms of health, of course. UEF-1 cannot fly, or cannot float, sorry. None of them can fly. So it can't go on water. That's significant disadvantage relative to Aeon and Seraphim. But in terms of anti-air capability, this is much better than the Tech 1 counterpart. Give it something to shoot at. Something like a Restorer. This is what they're really good at, killing. Of course, we gotta give them the ability to shoot. And the Restorer, really a feared unit. You can see how quickly it'll lose its health. And now that's a really nice chunk of mass. And of course the shield for UEF, never want to neglect this. The health on one of these, on the shield itself. Where is that? Well, it's about 3500. I'm not really sure why it's not showing up. The health of the unit underneath is only 150, so if you get underneath the shield you can take that out quite easily. The health of the shield is about 3500 health, so more than any of the Tech 2 units. And of course in numbers, when they overlap, it's very difficult to kill them. Together with Flak, they become basically the ultimate anti-air solution for your armies. See what else to say about it. You need about 5.5 PGens to power one of these, so you definitely want to have good Tech 2 power if you want to make a lot of them. But make any of your Tech 2, Tech 3 armies that much stronger. Of course they cannot go on water. That's another limitation. And of course the Pillar, the standard tank in the UEF arsenal at Tech 2, similar to the Striker, but of course 1500 health, exactly 5 times more health than the Tech 1. Also has a little more range and a much better cannon. Can take out very good units, and quite cheap. It's only 200 health, 200 massive, relative to 50 for the Striker. So it's a much better cost-effective solution. If you have a Tech 2 factory, might as well make those. give them an obsidian to shoot at. This is the Aeon Tech 2 tank, and I guess we gotta give them the ability to shoot. And of course the mongoose helped them out there, but as soon as the pillars shot in close range, the pillars are much better than the mongoose. Of course the mongoose can outrange them. So depending on what you want to do, what you're facing, how much micro you want to do. If you want to micro the mongoose, if you don't want to micro, just throw these in. More health, significantly more health, but less range. Use the pillars. So I guess that is all for Tech 2. Now moving on to Tech 3 land, and here's where the EF feature their best bot here, the Percival. It can take on any other Tech 3 bot. Has a very low reload. I guess high reload. It takes a long time for these to shoot, but each one of these shots a lot of damage. You can see the health of one of these 9300. And looking back at some of these units, Tech 2 1400, so that's another about factor of 7. And relative to the light assault bots and the mech marines, it's just like an order. It's 2 orders of magnitude, about 100 times difference. And if you get about 15 of these, they can start taking on experimentals. Let's see what will be a decent unit for it to actually. Let's give them something like the Cybern, the Brick. So when a Brick finds itself among a whole bunch of Perseus, it doesn't live very long. We also have the Titan. This is the weaker Tech 3 assault bot for UEF. It features a shield. So total health, the shield plus the health. I don't really get why I don't get the healths on the shield, but the shield here comes out to about 2,000. So total health is about 3,000 on the Titan. Looking at the fire rate, the complete opposite of the Percy. Don't you want to shoot? Yeah. Very high fire rate, extremely good at taking out groups of Tech 1 units. So if you're taking on Tech 1, Tech 2 units, this is what you want to do. If you're taking on experimentals and other Tech 3s, you want to go with the Perseus. Or if you're going after ACUs, you can see the range on this significantly longer than the Titan. Of course, Titan's really, you can say, the weakest Tech 3 bot among the different factions, but it does have its spot. They're also very quick. That's one good advantage for these. Perseus is very slow. So depending on what you want to do. Of course, the artillery, Tech 3 artillery. This is a unit that ends games for you if you're somewhere close to an enemy line, an enemy's base. Can outrange any of their turrets. Can't outrange their stationary Tech 2 artillery, but can do a lot of damage. Really high reload. It needs to deploy. It can't shoot and move. But a very beautiful unit. These shells do a lot of damage, a lot of splash. Good at breaking shields. I'll let them fire over there this time. Somehow we'll be able to see the splash. So it takes a while for the shots to actually get there. I like the Cybern but the best, but these are also quite nice. So if we, I guess if we spot anything, it'll be killed by other units. We'll set the Titans on hold fire. I'll give these something to shoot at. So there's a Brick. It's going to be shooting at our Perseus. And of course the health on these do need to be protected. It's the health of a Tech 2 unit. So you can see that Brick in a sea of Arty. Actually could let the Arty shoot at it directly. I'll let the Percy save itself. Also the mobile missile launcher. This is the Tech 3 mobile missile launchers. No other faction has this. This is also a very nice combination with the artillery. You can outrange any other of the Tech 2 missile launchers, which are very similar in terms of, actually the same in terms of range for all the different factions. You can see the Tech 3 one slightly longer, but shoots a lot more missiles. So it's just the volleys. They can really overwhelm your tactical missile defenses when you start facing them. A really good unit overall. So that's basically, we've just gone through all of the UEF land units. You can see we went from really low health, basically 2 orders of magnitude, so a factor of 100 in terms of health, also in terms of damage. Depending on what kind of game you want to play, there's different options for you. Of course, the shield's a very big strength. Moving on to the experimental unit, it's the Fatty. It's very different from the others. It has much longer range, so it can be used as bombardment. You can see significantly longer than any of the others. It's got a shield. It's about 20,000 health, and health on the Fatty itself is 1,200. So one thing that people do is get underneath the shield and shoot it directly. Of course, it also has other weapons besides the main cannon. It can also act as air staging, and it can be a factory, so it can produce any of the units we've just seen. It also has a little bit of anti-air, but quite weak anti-air. So let's see, it spawns some air above this one. You see the spy plane getting shot. It's actually pretty decent. See some cannons on this thing. A very nice unit if you want to break somebody's turtle, but quite weak if it starts taking on other experimentals from other factions. So let's now move on to some of the stationary things that these things need to just stop. I guess we might say, if they want to let themselves be known. This is the drone, the kennel, engineering stations, and this makes UEF by far the best builders. These are the little drones that can go anywhere and build anything for you very quickly. They can also assist nukes, anti-nukes, and any kind of building projects. So for example, if we want to get something like a strategic bomber, we can get that much quicker together with these drones. Looking at, and of course in terms of engineering, the best engineers is the support commander, which comes out of the Quantum Gate, which is basically like a factory, but here we have all the different Tech 1, Tech 2, Tech 3 stage factories. You can say a T4 factory. Not much more to say about these. They're kind of like a commander. They can also be upgraded. Different factions have different support commanders. You got the different guns you can put on there, resources, shields, jammers, all kinds of toys, and of course 3 types of engineers. Tech 3, you can make any kind of unit you want. Tech 2, only up to the Tech 2 stage, and Tech 1, these are your basic engineering unit that usually goes into battle and dies. Now looking at the stationary protection, here we got the Tech 1 turrets, and the Tech 1 turrets are useful throughout the game. Extremely cheap, but do a lot of damage. So let's see, what will we kill? Like an engineer, for example. Something like an engineer will die very quickly. And the Fatty decided to join. We'll set this one to hold fire. The anti-air turret, each one of these is about 250 mass. You can see the health similar to a Tech 2 unit. The health on anti-air turret a little less, and these cost 250 mass, these 150. You can build these very quickly for your anti-air protection. Much better than the mobile anti-air, the Tech 1 stage. A heavy gunship is probably not good. So something like a Jester from Cybern. I really don't want that flying over your anti-air. Moving on to the Tech 2 structures, there's a whole bunch that you can make. Of course, the Tech 2 artillery, significant range on this. You can see it's much longer than any of the other units we've seen so far. and it can actually be effectively used against fatties. It's also got a pretty long reload. One thing that can be done if you build power structures next to it, it improves the reload, but does quite a bit of damage. So if any units were there, we can't really see, we don't have visual. If we want to get visual there, we can get a satellite over there. It's a very expensive unit. Tech to point defenses. The EEF tech to point defense is perhaps the best one, depending on what you want to do, but a very balanced one. Let's see, we'll give them some Tech 3 land. Something like a Rhino. See, that gets killed quite easily. The satellite in position. I don't think there's actually anything there. We'll let that be killed. And of course the satellite itself is at a very high altitude. You can set that to attack. And that cannot be shut down by planes. The only way to take that down is to kill the satellite here. 900 health on that. So also in the Tech 2 structures, I will stop these. We have the TMD, so this is the anti-missile solution. This is what you use to protect against mobile missile launchers like these, as well as the Tech 2 ones. Yes, they're not there, they're right here. So with enough of these you can protect. The EEF ones are not particularly good, perhaps the worst ones depending on the situation. There's also a Tech 2 flak. You can see the health on this much more than the Tech 1 flak. Pretty effective, but overall the Tech 2 mobile flak by far the best. Although these are also pretty capable, but quite expensive for what they do. Pretty nice range. And of course the cruise missile launcher. This is a very important unit in the game. Are these all loaded up? Yep, these are all loaded. So this is a unit that's killed more commanders than most units. Very capable, so you can use a number of these to snipe very important targets. They can be protected against with the Deca missile defenses. So this is the Tech 2 stage of the game. Usually you get one of these toys, try to get it into position, usually use stealth or something like that. But if somebody gets one of these in range of your important structures, you gotta get TMD. So a lot of strategic stuff going on with those. Moving on to Tech 3, here we got a very nice unit here, the anti-air. Tech 3 anti-air will take care of most of your air needs, anti-air needs. Something like a heavy gunship. Won't last very long. I would not want to make that above some of the units that we've seen on the left side. It would do a ridiculous amount of damage, but not against these. And of course the Tech 3 point defense, no other faction has this. Pretty decent range. It is outranged by artillery, but in terms of doing damage, this can't stop experimentals. I'm sure people watching some of these videos have seen this many times. A Gatling gun. If you get this in range of somebody, they will start moving back. This is a really good unit to do any kind of point defense creeps, and this is where EEF in point defense creeps will beat you every time once they hit the Tech 3 stage because of this unit. Also in the Tech 3 stage, of course, this is a very expensive unit. We get the Duke Tech 3 artillery, and that's the cost of about 5 of the fatties. It's very expensive. You can see the range on this is actually, that's not the real range. The range of it is much longer. Probably hit something over here. Oh yeah, we can see the range now. Interesting. But very slow to turn. And at the Tech 4 stage, of course, we also have the Maver, and this is the ultimate artillery in this game. You can hit anywhere on the map. We can hit New Zealand, or this is Papua New Guinea, sorry. Apologize to any New Zealanders, I didn't really mean that. But you can basically hit anywhere you want. And these can also be, the firing rate in these can be improved. If you build power generators next to them. And you can see the Maver. See the shell. This is the shell from the Tech 3 artillery. Actually, it does a little bit of deformation on the terrain, but you can see the fire rate on the Maver much quicker.